Now Nunu again trying to use all his CC to lock up anybody, but everybody's going invulnerable. Thanks to Tahm, Kench eating, and now an Elise repel gets her away. A nice parry from the Fiora helps her finally net a kill on the, who was that? On the Tahm Kench. But now Twisted Fate's a little bit too deep, and now we have Fudge going into the back line. He's trying to do all he can against... So hopping right into the game, as I mentioned in our little pre-game chat, we're looking at mostly Fudge in the top lane. Cloud9's Fudge, the mid-season showdown recent champion. Congratulations to him and Cloud9. I honestly was rooting for Team Liquid. I believe they were a little bit of the underdog, and I'm a big Core JJ fan. If you guys have been watching the YouTube channel with me, you can see that I've done a Core JJ analysis. I'm really excited about how well he plays as Rel, and it was unfortunate to see that they kind of lost to what seemed to be a cheesy strat in the 5th game of the mid-season showdown. So you can check that out, go check that out, but not before watching this game and seeing Fudge perform on Gwen in the top lane, our newest champion. I've done a lot of research. Hopefully you guys have too on how Gwen works, what she does. So I'll try to, trickle that in as this cast is continuing. Because it's so hard with all these different champions of League of Legends to keep up what everybody does. The quick and short of it is that most people are building Gwen as she was intended as an AP bruiser in the top lane, and clearly we see Fudge bringing her there as well. But we have seen her in the mid lane so far since her release. We've seen people building Riftmaker on here, building Everfrost, building a whole slew of different items. We're in that weird part of the season where people who are playing Gwen are still trying to figure out what is best on her. So we'll see if she can hold a candle to Fiora, one of the premier top laners in Season 11, and how he fares against Sadness and Hatred in the top lane. Up here, Sadness and Hatred is actually typically a mid lane player. He is a Nico one-trick pony. Playing Fiora this game, he was regulated or pushed to the top lane, auto-filled, because we see Torn in the middle lane on Twisted Fate as well. So he does have one other game on that Fiora in the top lane. It was a win this season. This will be his second time playing Fiora in the top lane, and hopefully he's able to reproduce that success that he had one game before. You already see a lot of trading happening up there. xUslcHerman and Torn in the mid lane, both mid lane players. xUslcHerman has a 68% win rate on Galio in mid lane, and almost a 5 KDA for 50 games. So he's a really strong mid lane player, clearly loves Galio, and Torn is typically a Zoe one-trick pony in playing Twisted Fate this game. We're going to assume that he picked Twisted Fate because, again, Galio has a lot of global presence with his ultimate, and Twisted Fate can easily answer that and is clearly a favorite this season as well. Taponer 188 on Senna down here is forced to flash away as Red Team gets the level 2 advantage over them. That's going to be a pretty large cooldown, especially when you have such an easy point-and-click CC ability in the Karma on XiaoAi in the bot lane. XiaoAi playing that Karma is typically a mid lane player as well, but is forced to support. We see a gank coming in from Corso on Elise in the top lane. It is unsuccessful. He misses the net, the stun, the webbing, whatever you'd like to call it, and is going to have to more than likely walk away here. But we do see additional fighting up happening in top lane and in bot lane, more scuffles, and a taunt happening in middle lane. Galio are probably going to have to re-look around the camera after this fight right here, but we do see both junglers in the top lane trying to take out either one of their respective opponents, and more fighting happening in the mid lane. The directed camera has no idea what to do. Corso finally gets a stun off on the Nunu, but a nice eat and feast will help him heal up a little bit there. But now here comes Fiora trying to close the gap. There's going to see so much tension in the top lane. It looks like they're going to fight over those Krugs up there. And a nice flash taunt E from the Galio trades the Twisted Fate back thanks to the turret shot onto him. A nice big win. Both of the mid laners have teleport, so they're going to be able to get to lane quickly and not lose any farm. And that top lane fight seems to have subsided finally. If we can head back up there, it looks like Corso's just going to help C9 Fudge push the lane out and into the turret before he goes ahead and retreats back to his own jungle, potentially getting that Scuttle Crab that is up. A root comes off on the Senna with no flash right now, and a teleport is coming in more than likely from the Galio, who's potentially going to use it mid, but he has that speed boost, and he's able to finally catch out XiaoAi after his Senna falls in the bot lane. That'll be 2 kills over to blue team, 1 going over to Galio and 1 going over to Senna, who have now just realized that this is a fasting Senna 80 carry. It looks like Corso's going to try to do whatever he can to Torn on this Twisted Fate in the mid lane. He dodges the cards, but it's not going to be really due to anything. He's only level 3. Now we see Nunu coming in here, and he gets a snowball off on him. He goes so low, but he levels up Corso to gain a little bit more health. Maybe Red Buff will take him out. It won't. And xUslcHerman is here to pressure them enough to not want to turret dive. and push them away. Thank goodness, honestly, because I don't know what Corso was thinking on that level 3 gank on a level 5 Twisted Fate. He did get him down to about half health, and Nunu was there to respond pretty quickly. So that could have gone a lot worse for the blue team after a big win thanks to that Telio from xUslcHerman on Galio in the bot lane, pushing ahead his bot lane for an additional 2 kills for their team. And now Fudge is just completely going on this Fiora. We had that question mark early game if he was going to be able to stand true against what seems to be, or what is, excuse me, a very popular top lane this season. He just goes ahead and snips that Fiora very quickly up there to take her down for an additional 200 health, and she ends up falling and giving 300 gold over to C9 Fudge, who is already 14 CS ahead and pushed all those minions into the turret. The Fiora already used teleport previously, so she is going to be hurting pretty bad up there. That lane is more than likely already over in top lane. Fiora does have a decent comeback mechanic in level 6 where she has the ability to heal a massive amount, but this is horrible when you're a top laner. A nice CC lockup comes up in mid lane, but there's not enough damage. It looks like Elise was not able to get into spider form to get her final Q or execute off onto Torn on the Twisted Fate. So they'll just take some additional damage onto him and make him feel uncomfortable. He's going to have to back, and he does not have his teleport. Maybe he'll have to use his ultimate to get back into lane. All our other laners now need to be careful with Twisted Fate leaving the mid lane and having ultimate available. We might see him start making his way down to bottom lane. We have our Elise here sitting on a ward, potentially looking for a gank, and now we see Nunu and Twisted Fate potentially moving to the bot lane. A nice snare comes out from Senna, but this Tahm Kench support, which we haven't been able to talk much about, is very interesting. Hold on, Fudge is going in, using his ultimate on the top lane, and Zyko on the Tahm Kench is going so low here, uses his shield, but it's not going to be enough to save him from the damage from all 4 members of the red team who are now here thanks to the Twisted Fate ultimate, trying to gap close. He should have his stun and pick up cards available very soon here, but not soon enough before they're able to walk away. And that whole time, while we were focusing on bot lane, it looks like Fiora was forced to go back in the top lane after almost dying thanks to Fudge's ultimate. And a nice 1 kill goes over to red team, helps even out the gold a little bit here. Blue team is still 1k ahead. We see with the bot lane and the jungler being so low for blue team, red team's also going to be able to easily take this dragon completely unattested. It is an ocean dragon, and it's only the first dragon of the game. Of course, that's going to be happy. Oh boy, Fudge is already 2 levels ahead of Fiora. It's going to be a happy moment for the blue or red team to take that first dragon, but you really don't have to start worrying too much about dragons until maybe the 2nd or 3rd one. That's when you really start to have to make that decision whether to fight or not, because everyone's so low. We don't even have ultimates available for most of the bot half of the map, either jungler, sans Elise, because she always has ultimate. Give me a break. But they'll be happy to take that quick little macro. That'll help even out some of the score for them. 1 dragon, 2 kills to 5 kills total. And now Fiora has her ultimate, as I mentioned previously. She's going to want to go in. We have the sown floor for Fudge to help him out, but Galio also uses his ultimate, and Corso's here as well to try to follow up to try to take this Fiora down. Will he be able to land it? No. A nice parry from Sadness and Hatred, who seems to be happiness and glee right now, as he's able to escape a 3 men in top lane gank. Now we see Nunu coming in with his snowball as they're maybe thinking on the blue team that they want to dive, but he turns on Fudge, does get the snowball and the knock up off on him. Fudge has to flash away, and now Fiora wants to come in and see if she can finish the job, but no, they're going to easily just walk away. They don't have much vision in the river for the red team, and they're afraid to see who else could be potentially waiting for them there. Twisted Fate was also heading up there, but clearly no ultimate available from him after using it in the bot lane. Wasn't able to get there fast enough to net that kill on Fudge. And now maybe we'll be able to talk about this Tahm Kench in the bot lane, but not before Jinx hits level 6 and wants to do some additional poke and really wants to fight while she has that level advantage up on Senna, and now that's gone. So as we were saying, Tahm Kench in the bot lane, Zyko playing him. Zyko is a challenger support main, and he typically likes to play engage supports on his team. He'll play like Thresh. Hold on. A nice great bind coming out from Senna, and then, oh! All of a sudden, a bunch of damage comes out thanks to the tongue lashing from Zyko and some additional auto attack damage as well from Taponer 188 on Senna. Phenomenal. Tahm Kench. I don't know why I can't say Tahm Kench today. Tahm Kench is typically not played by Zyko. He is a challenger support player, as I was mentioning previously, but he likes to play all the kind of commonplace engaged supports that we see in Season 11. Again, Rel, Thresh, etc. He does do a tongue lashing under turret and will more than likely die here now, but a heal comes out from Senna as well as a Q. But oh, a super mega death rocket out of nowhere takes out the Tahm Kench, and now Torn is potentially going to keep pushing here. He more than likely could have, but seems to have been aware that Galio xUslcHerman was making his way down also, and with basically no mana on the Twisted Fate, he's just going to go ahead and go back to base and make sure that he doesn't miss too much farm in the mid lane, considering again he doesn't have teleport available. And more fighting happening in the top lane. Fudge realizes that with how hard this Fiora was going in, he more than likely is getting some jungle support as well. And honestly, with even being a whole level ahead and being able to do some healing thanks to her passive on Gwen, it's not going to be enough to get him out of there. Too much lockup, too much CC coming out from the Nunu. And also the Fiora ultimate that was available helps push that kill into the red team's favor. So now 4-6 overall. We have 2 kills on Fudge in the top lane, 2 kills on the mid lane on xUslc, and then pretty even distribution of kills on the red team for 1 kill apiece for everybody. It's but support, and that's exactly what you want to see when you are a little bit behind like this. The gap has closed for gold to about 7.7k. Oh no, now we move back to 1k. Apologies. But we're pretty much holding within that range, and once we see this next dragon fight, that will really tell the tale on which team is winning the game. Nunu using Snowball out of vision to try to move on them here, but Corso is also here, the enemy jungler, and a teleport's coming in from xUslcHerman as well. The Galio, another teleport as well coming in from Fiora, it seems to be. No, it's Twisted Fate on the red team, and now we have 4 members from each team in the bot lane here. Welcome to bot lane, everybody. But it looks like both teams are too scared to engage, but a nice Elise stun will more than likely be enough with the additional CC from Galio to kill the Nunu. It's not. His shield from ultimate is enough to save him, and now here comes the Fiora on red team. It's going to be a 5v4 because Fudge isn't going to be able to make it here. Finally, we have Jinx take out the Tahm Kench support. The shield wasn't enough to save him, and blue team's going to have to walk away knowing that this is turned from a 5v4 now into a 5v3. We have Dragon coming up in 49 seconds. We will have everybody alive on the blue team to more than likely fight for this. And while we have 1 kill, it's still, going to be a nice turn from the flash thanks to Galio and xUslcHerman moving into the Twisted Fate. A taunt comes out, and then 3 people onto him, finally taking down. Fiora's trying to run away now. Some additional ultimate damage coming out from Fudge, but he's going to be able to be fine there. There's no more CC available for the blue team for another, well, now it's available, but what was for another about 5 seconds. And with that pick on Twisted Fate, he does have ultimate available pretty soon here. You can see on the right-hand side over up by his portrait, he more than likely has it up in about 5, 10, 15 seconds, somewhere around there. So while this dragon is spawning in about 10 seconds, once this Twisted Fate is able to move here, or able to spawn here, we'll more than likely start to see red team make their way over there. All teleports in the game are now down since they were just used in the bot lane. So even though we see both top laners up here pushing and farming, if we do see a dragon be attempted, which we see some assistance pings happening right now on the map, it'll end up being a 4v4 fight unless one of our top laners starts moving down right now. So Nunu trying to make his way in. He does have some decent vision support, and his team is trying to converge. It's actually only the Karma that's making her way over here. So he has to run away just to be safe because we don't want to see this blue team and their bot lane moving into him. They are playing on weak side, red side, so they need to be careful here. But a nice snare comes off from the Karma. It's on Zyko, the Tahm Kench support, so it's not going to be the most high-value target. Twisted Fate does finally ultimate in, followed by the Galio ultimate on the enemy team, and a Super Red Death Rocket finally finishes off the enemy AD carry in Senna. Zyko's going low, and so is Corso, who finally goes down to the Twisted Fate, thanks to a nice pick of cards, and followed up by a stun and a nice feast from Nunu. Is going to net the red team this dragon pretty easily here. We see 3 kills go down from the blue team, 3 deaths, from the blue team, and 1 only death on the Jinx for the red team. That's going to be the red team's second dragon, and they're going to be happy to start moving that macro play back into their favor, or more into their favor than it was just a second ago. All those additional kills and now those plates that are going down to Rift Herald also are going to help red team actually push ahead in the gold lead, which we haven't seen yet this game. It's been really blue team kind of controlling the pace of it, and now that top lane is on their island, maybe Fudge will be able to do a little bit more, but it seems to have evened out a little bit in this top lane up here. Fudge is still about half a level ahead, maybe a little bit more than that, has 3 kills, and we'll see just how well he's able to perform against this Fiora. Oh my gosh, hold on, we gotta go back now because I apparently missed 2 kills down here. What ended up happening? Galio goes back, and now we see Tahm overstepping for some reason into 2 champions, is able to easily be taken out, and now, woohoo! Tahm Kench ultimate comes into play, which I never thought we'd see. Here comes the jungler for red team also, but Torn is way too low. He's going to need to stun this Elise as soon as she comes out, but it's not going to be enough because we have the Tahm Kench on the enemy team somehow popping up a decent amount of damage, and now a double kill comes out for Elise, both on the Twisted Fate as well as the Karma. That's going to be happy for blue team, pushing gold back into their favor. Now Corso's in danger. He needs to flash away from that Jinx before she gets excited and takes out the rest of his team. And Tahm Kench is just putting so much CC and slow onto her. Potentially Galio will be able to find something here on the Nunu, but he's not doing enough damage yet. He doesn't have enough Dark Steel stacks. He's building into what seems to be a Shurelya's Revelry right now. So all he really has for AP available to him is that Vandal Glass Mirror. It's not going to be enough. Was trying to focus on Fudge in the top lane real quick and see if he was able to kind of step toe-to-toe with the Fiora, and it looks like he really is because he was able to push her out of lane. Did that net in a kill? Oh, I kind of want to go back and just see, but I also don't. So we'll just keep on moving here. Looks like Fudge will actually ended up building Everfrost, which is what I see a little bit less common on the Gwen. Again, I mentioned previously, people seem to be opting for more of Riftmaker on her because of that extended fight ability that she has, as well as the passive ability of her having about 70% healing anytime she 70% healing on the damage she does to champions anytime she attacks a champion, obviously. So people seem to be opting to try to go for that heavy sustain, heavy healing build on her. But we've seen Everfrost coming out, which can also play well. She has her little snip ability on Gwen also, where if she hits the center of it, it does true damage to champions. So we have some synergy there, as well as with the ultimate that needs to hit, or he needs to hit an auto attack after using the ultimate. Nunu coming down with a huge snowball in the bot lane, but Tahm Kench is able to eat his AD carry to save his life, and Nunu is just going to be focused by 3 enemies of the blue team. And now a chase down is happening from Zyko. He flashes in to get some additional slow procs onto the Karma, who also goes down to the blue team. 2 kills for naught, thanks to that beautiful, beautiful counter gank from Corso on the Elise, who I was a little bit skeptical about early game on his ability to play the champion, but he seems to have such great jungle awareness that it's ending up working out very nicely for him. 2-1 and 3 on him, 2-1 and 4 on the enemy Nunu. Pretty even fight happening in the jungle. We see both jungles really matching each other whenever they pop up. And now just interesting heal comes out from Twisted Fate, more than likely because the fact that he has Unsealed Spellbook available to him and his original Summoner spell is more than likely going to be up. It is. He has Teleport up again now, so that's why he just popped the heal there for additional damage. But here comes Everfrost and Gwen to the mid lane. Galio needs to be careful. He is pretty low, but it's not going to be enough damage from either of them. A flash is forced on Torn, so that is a win, and the ultimate comes out from Fudge, but the stun card is going to make him just walk away. Unfortunate. I don't know how big the cooldown is on Gwen ultimate, but it looks like it's already about a quarter of the way back up, so maybe not that big of a cooldown that we need to worry about. That's a little bit insane. He just ended up using that ultimate, and now it's about halfway back to being up. So the new champion seems to be great, everybody. It seems like we're a little bit overtuned, potentially. He is playing very well against a top laner that, as I mentioned in the beginning of the game, is very strong this season. A lot of people like in Fiora. She's back into a nice power state. So now both teams are going to be clearing up the map, grabbing some scuttles, getting up some wards, and really looking to more than likely move to this dragon in a minute, or as we're seeing from Nunu right at this moment, he will attempt to start the Rift Herald, but clearly not feeling safe enough, not feeling like he has enough support, and sees a juicy Senna in the mid lane that he wants to go ahead and try to snowball. Here he comes again, gets a nice slowing smite off on her, and Tapona is forced to flash away on the Senna. We see a TF gold color go down on Tahm Kench, but all of a sudden the battle's being flipped towards all the damage onto Karma. She has to run away, and a Galio ultimate makes the red team disengage. A huge taunt comes off on the red team's AD carry, and now that sets blue team to go ahead and keep going in at this point. Both teams are going to disengage. Nobody wants to dive under either team's turret. Everfrost comes up to slow up or stun up or snare up the Fiora, thanks to Fudge. And now they're going to be pushing into, and again, clearing out vision to hopefully be able to net the first dragon on blue team. That 1 kill on the... Oh, hold on. Corso going in on the enemy jungler. Maybe he's a little bit too deep here because we have Twisted Fate available too. But Zyko on the Tahm Kench is coming in to hopefully give him a little munch in case he gets too much in danger. Nunu pretty low. The Senna ultimate is not going to do enough damage, and it misses. Here comes a flash and Everfrost from Fudge, but he also is not able to catch that slippery Nunu. And hopefully with all that healing and going back to base that red team needs to do, we'll potentially move to this Wind Dragon now, and blue team will be able to net their first dragon, as we were speaking on just about 2 seconds ago. And it looks like that's what they want to do. We don't have much ward coverage for the blue team, deeper or more shallow towards the dragon, but they do have a lot of deep ward coverage closer to the enemy team base. So we'll be able to see if anybody on red team is making their way over here, and they're not. XiaoAi on the Karma is just going to clean up some wards. Look at all these wards he has to go ahead and take care of. And blue team is going to be happy to net their first dragon, albeit not the most powerful one of the bunch. Honestly, probably the weakest. Here comes a Shurelya's Revelry onto xUslcHerman on the Galio, trying to move on Fiora. He more than likely just wanted to see if he can get a taunt on her under turret, which he tries again and then misses, unfortunately. And even so, she can just do that. She can just parry if he's going to try to do that. So the really only way I believe Galio wins that fight is if he gets some turret assistance in that top lane. So that's really going to be his only play against Sadness and the Hatred. Even though Sadness and Hatred has 3 deaths, he's still more than likely be able to take this Galio on one-on-one. Galio, a little bit more of a utility-heavy mid lane, which is clearly kind of the flavor for this season. We see Seraphines in the mid lane. We see Karmas even. We even see Lulus sometimes. So mid lane's kind of losing their luster that they had a season previously. Here comes the taunt from Galio, who ends up being parried, and Sadness and Hatred needs to flash out, but we have Corso fast on his tail right now, who almost gets bursted down, and a Twisted Fate ultimate might end up teleporting behind all of them. Galio ultimate hits nobody, but he does help protect his team and make red team disengage a little bit. Here comes a teleport from Fudge to try to hit up in the back line and join his team here for what has ended up being a 5v5 fight in this top lane. Beautiful Everfrost catches 2 enemies on the red team, and Jinx is so close to going down, but now Twisted Fate has found himself out of position here and gets jumped on by all 5 members of the blue team. Super Mega Death Rocket almost takes out the Senna, but so much healing. A heal from the Summer Spell and a heal from her Q ends up saving her, and then they end up trading a kill onto the Fiora, who oversteps her boundaries. So just some bad positioning from the red team. I don't know if they even want to stay on this turret at this moment, because although blue members are very low, it's still a 5v3, and a teleport is again going to be coming out from xUslcHerman, who's going to be right on top of all members of the red team. He gets 2 taunts off, and we have Karma down here trying to do anything she can against the 2 members that are remaining behind the turret, but xUslcHerman ends up netting a kill onto the Jinx. Tahm Kench eventually goes down from taking too much damage once again from the turret and having so much CC applied to him from the Nunu. So I guess it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade at the tail end there. But great teleport coming out from xUslcHerman. He almost netted an additional 2 kills. It was a really stellar play, going back to base, healing up, and then using that speed boost from teleport to almost get a taunt off on all 3 members of the red team. Fudge is pretty low here. He needs to be careful. We see Nunu barreling down the mid lane with a snowball, ends up disconnecting it to farm up these minions, and Fudge will be happily able to get away with a 450 gold bounty on his head. We have 2 really large bounties for the blue team at this moment. We have Galio with a 400 gold bounty, and then we have Fudge with a 450 gold bounty. Galio at 10 Dark Harvest stacks. Dark Harvest? No. Dark Seal stacks. Which is very common. A lot of Galio players will build Dark Seal early game because you are such a tanky force to be reckoned with, and you typically won't be building a lot of AP into your build thanks to building that Shurelya's Revelry and getting the speed boost to help you get some more taunts off on the enemy team. So I'm interested to see if he'll build that into a Magi's Soul Stealer, or if he'll just sit on the Dark Seal for a long time in favor of what looks to be him building towards his Zhonya's Hourglass. Some tension happening in the mid lane, but more than likely nothing more going to happen unless a huge Nunu snowball comes up, followed up by a Twisted Fate stun, which is completely negated thanks to the Tahm Kench support. Double shields coming out to save Zyko, even though he's so low, and a slow and an Elise stun is applied to the Jinx, who gets caught out once more. Fudge is coming in now, trying to land all the damage that he can, but he can't dive under the turret. He's going to need minion support, or at least a nice tanky team member to help him go in, and they'll happily tank that. Another Jinx kill. Poor Jinx just continuously getting caught out here. Corso misses the stun and probably needs to get out of here at this moment, but blue team is trying to re-engage through the red team's jungle, moving through there. Not enough CC once again to try to catch anybody. Red team too slick and too slippery and unable to be taken a hold of, and they're just playing smart, playing safe, playing through their lane. Really early game too. Hold on. Corso going under turret, tries to burst down the Twisted Fate, but a nice Karma Shield saves his life. Stun eventually goes off onto the Tahm Kench, and here comes Almost a beautiful Nunu snowball, but he gets stopped by the Senna snare, and now red team's gonna have to run away unless that super meta death rocket almost kills the, who was that? Senna almost kills the Senna, but there's just no damage on the Jinx. She only has one mythic item and a Noon Quiver, I believe that is, almost a Dominic's Regard. Now Nunu again trying to use all his CC to lock up anybody, but everybody's going invulnerable thanks to Tahm, Kench eating, and now an Elise repel gets her away. A nice parry from the Fiora helps her finally net a kill on the, who was that? On the Tahm Kench. But now Twisted Fate's a little bit too deep, and now we have Fudge going into the back line. He's trying to do all he can against what seems to be 3 members of the red enemy team. He's going to be able to take out XiaoAi finally, and now he will have enough damage to take out the Nunu. He had Ignite applied on him, so he has grievous wounds. It's not going to be enough healing for him potentially. He needs to walk away. He has support from xUslcHerman, who does get a nice taunt off, and now the Gwen zone of control, whatever we call that, is able to save his life thanks to Nunu not being able to land snowballs on her. I don't believe they can go any further here. They should just happily take this mid turret and walk away. Fudge might die to minions here if he's not careful. Nunu hopping over the wall, oh, and is able to land a beautiful flash snowball because Fudge went down so low to the minions there. And then also Fiora uses her teleport to go into the back line and kill xUslcHerman. So those 2 huge shutdowns we were just talking about go over to the jungler Nunu, 1,000 gold to him, and almost, I believe, 1,000 gold as well to the Fiora. Horrible news for blue team, who ended up overextending and was just so bloodthirsty for what seemed to be 2 or 3 minutes trying to get any kills they could, when they could have easily just got the mid lane turret and then moved over to this dragon and secured their second dragon here, another wind dragon, woohoo. But now more scuffling happening over this blue buff. We have 4 members of the red team here, so both of our bot lane members for blue team need to be careful. We're doing some great kiting on the Senna 80, or this fasting Senna 80 carry, pushing them away. Super Meta Death Rocket isn't enough to take that dragon. We do have a beautiful execute by the Elise, and now Tahm Kench hops into the backline with the Elise player as well, who ends up executing the Jinx very quickly there, and Fudge takes out the enemy support in Karma, while Taponer is trying to run away as fast as he can from this Fiora. A nice ultimate awareness from Galio makes Fiora have to run away herself now, previously chasing the Senna 80 carry, and I believe she'll be able to get away. She'll have enough dashes to be safe. We do have all the blue team just trying to do all they can. We're getting some lag here. I don't know what this teleporting is about unless Fiora is scripting. But she's going to take out turret and then continue to run. All the while, blue team is now switching their focus onto the Baron. And if Nunu gets here fast enough, he might be able to do a nice feast smite fight. I don't believe he has flash because he used it previously on the Gwen in the mid lane, and no. Blue team's able to take out Baron fast enough. Twisted Fate's going to use his ultimate, unfortunately, to run away because he sees all 5 members of the blue team converging onto this top lane turret. And this is where the push power is going to go thanks to the Baron buff. They're going to move up here. They're going to pump their chest. A flash and an Elise stun misses, but then we have a Senna stun connect onto the Jinx, who's again basically no help. Taponer ends up taking out the bot lane support in Karma once again. And now Zyko taking all this turret damage is going to allow his team to move in here. Oh, a nice little flip and stun, and Everfrost comes out from Torn on the Twisted Fate in the mid lane to take out the enemy jungler. But that doesn't matter. We're still going to have numbers on the blue team thanks to 2 members going down previously, and more than likely an inhibitor as well is going to fall here. I don't know if they have enough moxie, enough oomph in them to beat the whole game. It's super quick Nunu, little snowball connects there, but not the Jinx trap snaps. What are they called? The Jinx flame chompers. And she oversteps once again and gets a completely 100-0 by Fudge, who's going to now follow up on the Nunu, but he's so quick thanks to that Karma shield, he'll be able to get away. Now Torn's a little bit out of position. He's not going to have enough damage to really burst down anybody on the enemy team, and a flash from Galio as well as a follow-up beautifully from his team. He's able to net that kill on him. 2 members now down for the red team. Zyko so low as well. We did lose xUslcHerman on the Galio for the blue team, but blue team just wants to try to end this game as soon as possible. It's been going on too long. They've already had a lead for at least the past 5-10 minutes here, so they're going to try to do as much as they can to push down these turret bases, or excuse me, these base turrets, these base turrets. But they're instead going to play it safe and smart, and with everybody at about, what, like 200 health who's left here, except for the Senna, they're just going to walk away. Corso, I don't know if he wants to, I don't know if he has the power to take down his turret, because all the while sadness and hatred is coming from the enemy jungle. Corso is more than likely going to easily just explode here. Is it going to matter much? I don't think so. He wanted to get an additional turret that was a little greedy. But we just took Dragon. We 3 minutes ago took Dragon. We have 2 minutes until the next one. We have an additional 4 minutes until the next Baron. So even though he died there and has a 30-second kill cooldown, 30-second death timer, it's really not going to matter much besides giving a little bit of gold back over to the Fiora, who now has 3 kills, 2 items, 2.5 items. Really still unable to hold a candle to the top lane Gwen, Fudge, or really do much of anything against this enemy team that he's going against that has so much CC. It's really hard when you're going against a Galio, or a Galio, a Senna, a Tahm, Kench, and Elise. Hold on, here comes Fudge. Right now he has some support coming from his team, but I don't think he needs it. He's going to be able to just burst down this Fiora 100-0. Here comes xUslcHerman using the Shurelya's Revelry, getting a taunt off and locking up the Nunu and giving a double kill over to Fudge, who is now 2 levels ahead of his enemy top laner. Great map awareness from xUslcHerman. I don't really know if Fudge needed him up there, but might as well secure the kill. And as I was trying to mention just before that, it's really hard on an enemy team where you have 2 members of the team that are so fed to get around all this CC, specifically when this Galio is just so huge and seems to be taking no damage. We have a little bit of a turret dive potentially happening here. They might even just be better off moving to the base and finishing off that Nexus turret. Twisted Fate ultimate for who knows what. He's going very far behind them, and they might just be able to end the game before he's able to make it in here. He does get a stun off on Senna, but so much damage coming off from the Elise jungle. She basically hundreds of zeros in there. And Fudge moving in on his way to the team. He's able to push off the remainder of the red team, while eventually he kills the Karma support, and now Jinx will go down. Nunu trying to get a big ultimate off, but he doesn't have enough damage for it to really be worth anything. We do see Fudge finally go down next to a little bit of assistance from the Nexus turret, the Nexus Zapper, the Nexus whatever we want to call it, Death Ray. And red team ends up losing this game and giving it over to a very dominant Fudge on Gwen, a very dominant Galio performance, and a very dominant bot lane and jungle performance as well from the blue team. So really great stuff there. I hope you guys enjoyed this cast. It was very interesting for me to see Gwen in action on what seems to be one of the best top laners in the nation right now, maybe the world. I don't want to hype him up too much, but clearly our mid-season champion top laner deserves some street cred. So if you guys liked the video and you're watching this on Twitch, you can always head over to my YouTube and catch all of my casts reposted there. As well as if you're watching this on YouTube, please help me out and drop a like or a subscription. Every little thing helps. You guys know it. You've heard it before. And let me know who or what you potentially would like to see next. That's really it for today, y'all. I hope you have a great day or night or weekend or whatever it is. Peace.